two budget SGs, one Firefly, and one Grote. Differences, similarities, and tones. Let's do it.
Well, hey there, folks. It's Jimmy Stewart here, hoping this is finding you all doing well. Today's video, as you can tell from the intro, we're going to talk about a couple of SG style guitars. One from the folks at Firebird Music and Firefly Guitars. This is the new Firefly FFLG in Sunburst. Now, if you missed the full review I did on this guitar, please check out on the link. And the other is the Grout SG style guitar. Again, I got this last summer, and if you missed the full review of that, I think I did a setup review as well, but check out the link up here. Now, both of these guitars are very similar, but both are obviously got some differences, so that's what we're going to discuss today. Now, both of them are in the Sunburst finish, and they both are kind of the same weight as well. I will show you the weights up on the screen. The Grout comes in just a little bit heavier than the Firefly, and that's because the Grout body is a little bit thicker than the Firefly is as well. They're both 22 fret set neck guitars. They're both sporting dual humbucking pickups. The main difference between the two, where you have a volume and tone control for each of the pickups on the Firefly, and you have a master volume and tone control for the two pickups on the Grout. Similarities include the headstock design is pretty similar, although a little bit more of a bump on the Grout than you've got on the Firefly. And as you can also tell, the neck sets down all the way to the pickup on the Grout, and it comes down with a neck tendon cover here on the Firefly. So I think if you had these on straps, again, I don't have a lot of fear of, to be honest, of neck dive. I play mostly sitting down here in the studio anyway. If you're standing up and playing these guitars, of course, you'll have to check. There's a lot of buzz on the internet about neck dive on SG style guitars, not just the Gibsons, but most SGs as they stand. Again, I never had much of an issue with them, but you might want to check it out. Now, the other thing you'll note is I'm going to do a close side-by-side on both guitars so we can go over both of them. So let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, folks, so here's the up-close and personal of both guitars side-by-side here, with the Grout being on the left-hand side of your screen and the Firefly being on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see that they're both Sunburst guitars. However, the Firefly is a flamed maple top style guitar. And also you'll see some of the differences in that the Firefly has dual controls, a tone and volume for each pickup with a three-way switch down there with a poker chip on it, similar to a Gibson style. And the Grout has got the single master volume and master tone with the three-way switch. No poker chip around the three-way. And also, it's a commando guitar, so it's naked. It does not have the pickguard, whereas the Firefly has a pickguard on the top. Now, Firefly does make models that they ship without the pickguard if you like yours naked, which I kind of prefer, but again, that's a personal preference. But they will send it. They have different styles, different finishes that they have with the pickguard actually off the guitar. And they send the pickguard with the mounting hardware in a bag. You'd have to drill your own holes and that type of thing. But they do send it, but it's not on the guitar. So there's both of them side by side. And again, when I bought the Grout last year, I liked it because it had the simple volume and tone and no pickguard. And I kind of like that style. Again, this has got the dual controls. And you see it gets a little crowded down there. But again, really a preference, along with the output jack mounted on the front of the guitar, similar to an actual SG, and the output jack on the Grout is on the side of the guitar. But they both have the tune-o-matic with a stop bar piece. They are both 22 fret guitars. They both have rosewood fretboards, although if you look at the Grout, it almost looks like an ebony board. It's much darker. Both have bone nuts. They both have a very similar headstock in the way that it's designed and cut. You'll see that the trapezoid markers on the Firefly are a little more trapezoid-ish looking, whereas you got more of a rectangle block on the Grout, or the Grote. And the Grote starts on the 1st fret. The Firefly starts on the 3rd fret. Here's another interesting point. The neck, the 22 fret neck on your Firefly has got the neck tendon covered by a pickguard piece here. As you can see, it only comes down to so. On the Grout, it comes all the way down to the pickguard, so there's no need for recovery here, which could be a little bit better balance on this. I know a lot of people complain about SGs being neck heavy. Again, I've never really had any issue. I had a 70 or 71 SG with the Bigsby. Yes, the Bigsby did help keep the body weight more, but I never had any type of neck dive with it. But there you go. Now the horns are very, very similar. Again, kind of a cross between an SG and an ESP Viper, I would think. Although if you look, I think the horn designation on the Firefly is a little bit more drastic. In other words, that left-hand horn is a little bit higher in comparison to the right-hand horn than it is on the Grote. But they're both asymmetrical. In other words, they're offset more than a regular Gibson SG would be. And I'm going to give you some side looks too. A lot of people ask me to do this. Now the necks feel very similar, but the Firefly is flatter and wider. It's got a wider radius with a almost, I think it's a 20 radius as I measured it, and about a 14 radius on the Grout. You can see them. They're both bound fingerboards, but a little more rounded and not as flat. So a little deeper and not as flat on the Grout as it is on the Firefly. And then the Grout body, Grout, Billy Joe Bob here, is actually a little thicker as well. I'll try to put them side by side here. You can see the Grout is a little bit wider than the Firefly. So there they are, kind of side by side. You can get a good look at them. The similarities and obviously some of the differences. Main differences being the flame maple top and the dual controls on the Firefly, and the single master volume and tone and non-pick guard on the Grout. Alright, so we're going to look inside the cavity of the Grout here and see what kind of difference is between this and the Firefly. Okay, I got the plate off here, and you can see inside here you've got mini pots, your capacitors. There's your three-way. And then, of course, this has a barrel jack on the side. A lot of people don't like those because if something goes wrong, they're kind of a pain to switch out. But So there's the inside of the Grout SG and inside the cavity. There's a lot of room in here, so if you wanted to change out these pots and put in bigger pots and what have you, different capacitors, you could do it. A lot of room. And you can also see that there's no shielding or anything on the inside of there or on the back of the plate. And here is the neck joint of the Grout SG. The neck going up. And your standard tuning keys that the Grout comes with. These are a little, I'm going to say they're a little looser, a little more play in them than what I've found so far on the newer styled tuners on the Firefly SG, or the LG as they call it. Okay, now we're going to open up the Firefly LG, and you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts on this one instead of 3 like we had on the Grout. This has got 2 volumes and 2 tones instead of a single volume and tone control. Okay, we're going to open this up here. Oh, wow. Alright, well, looks like you got some shielding paint. And you have full pots here, full-size pots. And you 3-way here. And caps. So, a little bit of shielding in this, it looks like, along with full-size pots in the Firefly. So I wanted to show you the neck joint here on the Firefly. You can see along with the graining of this wood is very nice. And then up to your headstock here, you can see that these have got this is new to Firefly, for at least the guitars I have. They got these kind of domed tuning keys. And again, they seem to be holding fine since I've had the guitar.
So besides the physical differences in the guitars, I wanted to see, is there that much of a difference in sound? Now this particular guitar, I'll show you up here on the screen. When I bought it last year, I think it was in August, it was like $169, and it did come with a fairly nice gig bag. So $169 plus tax, free shipping, shipped to the studio here off of Amazon. I have not seen these in quite a while. So they had, I think, they had a surf green color. I think they had a red. They had a few different colors along with the sunburst. But again, I have not seen them in a while, so that might be something you have to take a look at on Amazon to see if they do come back in stock. I checked yesterday, and they had been out of stock for a while. So here is the Grote SG version on a clean patch through the monoprice amp in the 12-inch Celestion V30 speaker cabinet. and then dirty. Let's check out the Firefly. So I think, honestly, that the humbucking pickups on both of these guitars sound quite similar. You might get a little bit more bite, a little bit more twang, a little bit more gruffness, I think, out of the Firefly. I think the pickups are just a little bit nicer. I think the build is a little bit nicer. The price is a little bit higher. The Grote, like I said, was last year was $169. It came with the gig bag. This particular guitar on www.guitarsgarden.com from Firefly right now is about $189 and then another $27 to ship. Does not come with the gig bag. So that was $170 plus tax sent to the door from Amazon last year. They're unavailable right now. These are available through guitarsgarden.com, www.guitars.garden.com. They are around $189, so $190 and then another $27 for shipping. So around $217 sent to your door here in the U.S., continental U.S. So a little bit more for the Firefly, but I think it's a little bit better guitar, obviously. It's got a nice flame maple top. I think the pickups sound a little bit nicer. They both play close to each other. I kind of like a little bit wider neck like this one has on it. It's a little more chunky. This is thicker, but it's rounder. This is flatter and a little less chunky, but it's still chunky, and I like the feel of it. They're both bound necks. Both guitars I love. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like them both. But I think the Firefly beats it out by a little bit. So that's what I've got for you today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the little shootout we had between the Grote SG and the Firefly LG, both SG style guitars, and both are nice budget SG style guitars that you can add to your arsenal. For the subscribers that have subscribed, thank you so very much. For those still on the fence, come on over to the good side. We would love to have you on board. And so until next time, folks, it's Jimmy Stewart saying so long. Please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy. And we'll talk to you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now.